I've got on the final plat for the this is the final plat for the family conveyance. I've got the line table, but I also need it on the minor subdivision uh,
Okay.
final plat.
All right.
And I have it on the access easement for the family conveyance, but I also have this thing.
Okay.
And I have the access easement on the minor subdivision, and and that's right.
Okay. So it looks like we got some layer issues and maybe potentially a viewport boundary. So let me see, let me request remote and all right, so let's go back here and take a look. We've got this thing on boundary new lots family. This one's on boundary easement. Okay. Don't know if it's gonna let me.
And I thought I could do it by changing the layer to boundary, the whole thing, and it changed the there you go.
All right, so that's on boundary lots FC. And that's supposed to be on boundary new lots FC, so boundary. All right, so that's on boundary lots FC, so we need to change those. Now, we may be able to do that from this edit. Let's see, edit table properties. And let's see about, did we set, like, yeah, right here.
So could it be just on the boundary layer? That would put it on both of the plats that I need it on.
What if we put it on boundary? Like that?
Yeah.
All right, let's see if that lets us. All right, so that is on boundary, but doesn't show these as being on separate. However, if we edit the block, we see that this is on layer 0, meaning it's going to inherit whatever block you assign the whole thing to. That was correct. But these are on boundary new lots FC. So if we do this, put them all on layer 0. Oh, see. Yes, I'm good. So, all right, and then Let's see what. Zero line weight. There we go. Now, what did that do for us? Where were we? Like, I've got all 7 of them there.
Yeah, and let's look at the
access easement, now you'd have to freeze boundary, but if you freeze boundary, these lines are going to go away.
right.
So we need to rethink that. Instead of boundary, we'll put it on something else. And then the FC final plat, is that also where it goes?
Yep.
Yeah. And then the MS final plat, it goes on both of those, right?
Yeah.
And then over here, the only thing you need is this little one for the easement. And
Right.
for this one, same thing. Okay. So we need to go back and let's make a new layer here. Let's go to make boundary our current boundary. What is this one? Boundary easement.
That's right of easement plat.
All right, so then this one, instead of putting that on boundary, let's put that on boundary. New line table. Let's go ahead and change new line table to be green just for yups. All right. So now on this is correct. This is correct. And this, we simply need to be in here and freeze that. And same thing with not this one, this one. It was already in it. Okay, so now freeze that. Now you've got these meets and bounds still showing here. Is that?
Yeah, but I don't, I mean, the intent of this plat is just to show the access easement, so.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
but I think it needs to be tied into the boundary so they know where it fits.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're gray and they're in the back, they're, less. They're less prominent, so they'll be fine, and they'll never go back to the boundary plat and look those up. I'm a little concerned about the pattern distance being so large on the boundary. C2, that's final. FC final. Yeah, so I think to fix that, we simply
Gonna make the line type scale smaller.
yep. That'll fix it. Let's look at our final plat. Yeah, that shows it. And an access easement. Now, did we want it to be black on access easement, MS? Or do you want to make that gray?
Make it gray, like the other one.
So boundary and over here. What about that line?
Yeah, that should be gray too. That's
And-
it.
On this one,
Yeah.
and you'll need to fix this, freeze that and this up here too. So,
Right. Yeah.
so that one is boundary new lots. Boundary new lots. So actually, if we just take
This is the most complicated job I've done to date, I think. I know it's not very complicated compared to some of the stuff that you work on, but
yeah. The biggest problem I have with things that I work on is that, and then if you want to freeze those, is running out of room to put everything. All right, so that now looks good. And this one's already set that way, except you might want to freeze those. And
yeah,
then,
and those, yeah.
let's do. Let's make sure. Tables, there's that one. And that one. And then that one. And that one. Looks like we got them. Okey doke. You get your 1, 2, 3 wells here. Your dimensions, okay. And should have all your wells and there's all your dimensions that you need.
Oh, wait a minute, I just noticed I'm missing a dimension on that. Let me go back to that. Yeah, this dimension here
Right.
is I need to annotate that line.
Let's also turn off these points here while we're here. Oops. All right, now that line is dimensioned though, where is it also on? Is it dimensioned anywhere?
It's dimensioned on this final plat, but not as one line.
Oh, okay. So when you do that, when you dimension it here, just make sure you put it on that, either on that layer, although if you put it on that layer, then when you go to this, because you still also have those out there,
Yeah.
so they'll be over top of these, which, and if you go to freeze it, you'll freeze all these. So I would put this, I would go ahead and dimension this thing and put it on a completely new layer. Leave it thawed in this viewport and freeze it in the other one.
Okay. what layer would you suggest?
Just call it,
Boundary,
boundary
lot
MS
3, 4?
or 2, 3.
Yeah, right.
Yep, and make it, you're gonna need that same. No, oh, yeah, no, that'd be fine.
Let me,
Because it's not the line, it's just the text.
okay,
So it won't matter the color or line weight because you're using a font. Okay,
let me use an ampersand sign.
yep. You go ahead and make that current, and then when you annotate that,
Uh-oh.
no, it did it, but it put it on a frozen layer. So just go ahead and let's hit enter to end. And we'll come back over to here because this is, we didn't change the defaults. So if we list our last, see right, so right there it is. And was that all on the top?
Yeah,
Yeah, all right, so that one is the one we want to change. See, it went to that because that's what the defaults said,
okay,
frozen in that one viewport. So we go back to model space, we find it, and we're going to put it on this lots 2, 2, and 3. And then we're going to go to, so that's there, and you can rearrange it if you need. And access easement, we don't want it here, so we'll freeze it in here. And we don't want it here, so we'll freeze it in here. And we don't want it here. We'll freeze it. Oops, now. All right, so that'll do. Now, one thing I saw on this, a couple of things, you've got, this is gray,
yeah,
and this is something you probably want to make. So you got setback limit FC side is great for your line work, that's fine. But I would suggest to take all of those texts or dimensions, there's a couple of them I thought, yeah. And instead of putting them by layer, just go ahead and make them white. There you go. Might want to rearrange. So. Why is it? From there to. Right,
okay.
just cosmetics, but cosmetics are important. Oops, now we got this down over here. What's this?
Oh, that can leave. That was just, I just did that to, so I could see what it was.
So do you need it for anything?
No,
Okay. Got one here.
same thing there.
All right. You make a good looking set of maps, Mike. I gotta tell you that.
Well, thank you. I
So,
owe it all to you.
well, I don't know. You got a certain sense of what looks good on a plat too, so. I'm just one of those anal retentive engineer types. So, anyway, there you go. We'll give it a save and you should be good to go.
Okay, thank you very much again.
You bet. All right, we'll talk soon.
Okay, good night.